ain't loud enough. So Ryan,
Yes, sir.
trip out on this, man. Episode number 16, man.
That's it.
Can you
16.
imagine it? You know, when we got started with this, it was like, this will never last, you know? And look at us now, episode 16, and I feel so truly honored. We have a gentleman that I don't know very well, but I have been told is a Highland legend.
Oh, you got some big shoes to fill here.
Well, what's happened though is that you know, I always talk about Eddie being my number one guy.
Right.
I started talking to this gentleman that's about to be our guest today, and I'm not certain. He may be, Eddie may be pulling into second, you know?
Is that so?
Well, I mean, you know, Rick's getting a little credit for me. Oh, wait a minute. Let me introduce him. We have Mr. Rick Herring here, a legend of Highland, California.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the introduction, Ryan. Doug, I appreciate it. I'm glad to join you.
Happy to have you.
Somehow it seems like it's Ryan's birthday or close to his birthday or something.
It's after my birthday, but I'm still renting in gifts.
But you got a bottle of Jameson.
I did. I got a bottle of Jameson from a friend over the weekend who
And-
I didn't see. So
A good friend.
yeah,
And he pulled us a shot.
that's right. So let's,
Now, Ryan sits a few feet from us, but Rick and myself
Cheers to all
shall.
of us.
cheers, guys.
And to Ryan, happy birthday, fucker.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Smooth.
Just lost my headphones.
All right, so Rick, here we are.
Yes, we
Episode
are.
number 16. What the fuck's your deal?
My deal is that I'm proud to be here with you two, and that I was not born in Highland or even in California, but I lived here longer than I have anywhere else. I've been here. I was always interested in the history of Highland, and I've learned all about Highland area and stuff, things that have gone on here, and worked around here. I've done all kinds of different work, and we'll just
And
talk
from somewhat a crazy motherfucker that was
pretty
around
much.
here. I mean, you know, I mean, to me, you're like my inspiration is that number one. How old are you, Rick?
75. I'll be 76 in December 26.
Look at
Look at that.
that shit. Look at what I look like at 58, man. I assume if I could ever live this long, I'm going to look just like you, Rick. We'll be like twins, you know? But, what an amazing accomplishment. So, where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Denver, Colorado.
Oh,
I
beautiful.
was born there and went to school there and everything until I was 17. And I got caught using a fake ID, and the judge gave me a choice of joining the service or going to juvenile hall.
Using a fake ID for what?
Going into a bar.
So back then, what was?
18
18.
in Denver.
Oh, so you
Well,
were.
they had 3 crew bars in Denver where you only had to be 18.
Yeah.
And I had a fake ID, and they caught me with it bigger than shit.
And how old were you?
17.
Oh, you were only a year away.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not
so
even a year.
Yeah.
okay, so You know, it's really funny because since you decided that you'd come and do this podcast with me, I found out more stuff about you. And it turns out somehow through the court system, you became a sailor.
Right. I joined the Navy in November of '63, which meant that I only had to do 3 years because it's called a kiddie cruiser. You join when you're 17, you get out on your 21st birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I did that. And then, second year I was in, Vietnam broke out, or the first cruise in '64, Vietnam started. And we were online all the time over in the Gulf of Tonkin and shit, you know. And but I was on a refrigeration ship. We didn't spend a lot of time at sea, but we transferred all the food to the other ships. And I enjoyed my time in the Navy. It was a good time. The ship I was on was out of San Francisco. Went through all the hippie phase of San Francisco and the music and the parties and the fucking shit that went on between the students at Berkeley and the Hells Angels and everything. You had your war protesters and your war people that were supporting the war.
Yeah.
A lot of times it was bad because if you were in the service, they didn't like you because they were against the war going on there.
Right.
And as I got older and after I was out of the Navy, I understood why people protested against the war. It was not anything to do with saving that country from communism. It was trying the big money and all the rich resources that country had.
It's always money.
Yeah, it was all about money. It wasn't anything to do with saving anybody from being a communist or anything else. You know? It was a waste of time, is what it was, and money.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed every minute I had in the service, even the time I was AWOL.
Let's hear about that.
I was AWOL for 3 months.
What happened?
I ended up getting a captain's mast. I was in the brig I did 30 days brig time.
How many?
30 days in the brig. Then I was in 30 days of corrective custody. And then I went back. I got reduction in rank and pay. And I went back into
society.
Right.
Well,
But the thing was,
what was the reason?
for going AWOL,
Yeah.
they wouldn't give me leave when I wanted to go.
I wanted 30 days off.
No, I wanted to go. I wanted leave so
Sounds like you, Ryan.
Hey man, I'll go AWOL for time off too.
I think this guy may be you.
My sister was in the hospital. She had spinal meningitis, and up in Gardnerville, up at Nevada, you know.
Okay.
And they wouldn't let me go up there because I'd already fucking missed. I'd been AWOL one day before that. I didn't show up on time when I was supposed to be back. So they wouldn't give me
An excuse.
they wouldn't give me a fucking
Leave.
leave to go up there and see her before the ship was leaving port.
Right.
So I went anyway.
Of course.
Yeah.
And
Now, how old were you at this particular point?
19.
Okay. bad motherfucker, huh?
Oh, yeah, I knew it all. Yeah. And, well, no, I was actually 20 at that point.
Okay.
My 21st birthday was
But
coming
still
up.
a bad motherfucker, huh, Rick?
Hey, Rick, can you do me a favor? I know that's the way you talk, but the more you bang the table, the more it
Oh,
jiggles
I'm sorry.
it jiggles the camera
right.
there. I'm sorry about that, but
Anyway, so I got a girlfriend there in Alameda where
we
the
go,
ship,
we're good.
where the ship, that's
Don't worry
where
about
we were
Tim.
docked. And I go up to see my sister for a weekend, and then I come back, and the ship's gone. It left for overseas. So I got 2 strikes against me because I'm not only AWOL, but I missed ship's movement, which is another charge, you know. And, well, I'm already in trouble. I might as well just stay
Keep
home.
on going.
Stay home with this girl until they catch me or something,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. Well, time went by, 3 months went by, and I thought, man, it's getting close to my discharge date. Maybe I better fucking go turn myself in, you know. And I finally did. I sent my uniform to the cleaners. I went to the barber shop, got a regulation haircut, had my shoes all shined and everything, and turned myself in. Well, nobody wanted me because I was too clean cut to be AWOL for 3 months. They wouldn't believe me. And the flagship of the 7th Fleet with
I don't
Admiral
understand what the pride ship means.
flagship.
flagship.
It's
I don't even know what that means.
That's the ship that Admiral Nimitz was on. That flagship is the one that controls everything that's going on in the Pacific Ocean. I mean, all the ships.
Oh, you said pride.
Oh, I meant flagship is the one that I turned myself into. They were the one that accepted me for being all AWOL. They didn't fucking believe me that I'd been AWOL that long.
Because you looked like $1 million.
Yeah, they looked like I was a clean cut, just a boot camp type sailor, you know. Who else has all the clean uniform and everything all squared away, you know? And
Okay, so anyhow, you had said earlier that you spent 60 days after that,
yeah,
and you were under a little bit of bullshit. Eventually,
I ended.
it seems like you may have broken off from the Navy.
Well, they wouldn't let me re-enlist. I was not what they wanted. You know, I was not a quality.
But you
person.
wanted to.
No, I did not
Okay.
want to.
You're like, hey, fuck it, I've done my 4, I'm good.
I used to go in and talk to the recruiters that wanted to, you know, if you wanted to go in, and they'd tell you about your bonuses and everything.
Right.
And they'd
So-
look at my record and they'd say, I don't think you really need to fucking try to re-enlist because you really couldn't even make it for 3 years. How could you possibly stay in line for 6?
Yes. Okay. So, at this particular time, I apologize. Where are you at? What state, country?
At Alameda Naval Air Station in Alameda, California, just outside of Oakland.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was there from 64 through 67. Every protest march that the anti-war people had,
Is that very close to San Francisco or something?
Yes.
all
right
you
outside.
had to do was take the bus across the bridge and you were in San Francisco.
Yeah.
We used to go to the parties and stuff.
And what year is this, sir?
64, 65, 66.
Holy shit! So I mean, like,
I
mean,
was there at the height of the fucking Haight Ashbury. All the
you
things.
must have been like just involved with like the Grateful Dead and
Oh.
all that shit.
You used to see those people on the street all the time. They'd play for free in the Golden Gate Park on the weekends. They'd have concerts and shit. Jefferson Airplane, Janis Joplin, and all of you just see them everywhere all the time. You know, they were part
Wow,
of the San
that's amazing.
Francisco and the music scene at that time.
Now,
Even Carlos Santana came out of there too.
Oh yeah.
yeah. So, but as I mean, I don't know how your feelings progressed through that because, you know, like I grew up through. I don't know, like when my concert experiences started coming, I'm gonna have to go with 1976.
Quite a
You
bit
know,
later.
I mean, that's about
Quite
the
a
point.
bit
I
later.
was a junior, a freshman in high school, and I could cheat myself around and do all that shit. I got to see a lot of fucking really awesome bands, but at 75 years old, but except an ex-military man, you know?
Well, the ship I was on was real lenient about the length of your hair and the way you dressed and stuff when you were on the street and stuff. You didn't have we didn't have to have our hair cut military like, you know. You didn't have the white walls and shit. You
Is-
could get away without it.
Now, can I?
And so you could actually go to the park and people knew you were in the military, but they allowed you to stay without any trouble or anything, you know.
Can I ask? Is that part of? Because I know there's a bit of a stigma of different statuses of military, right? They're different.
Oh,
different,
yeah.
Right. So like the Navy being one that the Army tends to make fun of, Coast Guard, right? Like they kind of put you at the bottom of the totem pole. Is that part
I've
of?
never.
You've never heard that?
I've never heard it from the Army, nor the the Army nor the Coast Guard, but I have heard it from Marines.
Right. So Marines.
Because and
Well, let me finish my
wait,
question.
hold on. Forgive me if I'm wrong. When the Marines are on board, the Navy kind of gives them the spot. Am
Right.
I
Right.
wrong?
They get the spotlight on everything.
Yeah.
Sure, but but part of my question was, was that a part of that sort of stigma? The idea that you guys didn't have to be so clean cut, and you kind of had a little more wiggle room than everybody else.
No, it was just particularly on the kind of ship I was on.
Okay.
Because it was a refrigeration ship that supplied
I see.
food to all the other ships.
I see. But you guys weren't engaging in combat.
We're on patrol in the Gulf of Tonkin all the time, just like all the combat ships.
So what I really want to know, though, Rick, is were you always all dolled up like this?
No, not really. But I always kept long hair and shit, and the
We
Navy
gotta
hated
start
it.
to laugh, Rick.
The Navy hated it
This
when
is
I
kind of a comedy show. fucker.
All right.
And then I ended up doing. I had to make up 90 days of that time because I was 90 days AWOL.
Okay. So let's get back to that. Yeah.
Instead of getting off out of the Navy on December 26th, I had to go
3 months more.
More.
Right. But the Navy's so intelligent, they flew me back to the Philippines on the 24th or the
Ooh.
22nd of December to catch a ship that was going to be there until April. But when you're in the,
But when
if you're overseas, you have to be
gotta
back
stay.
in the States 30 days before your discharge date. So
They just fucked with
they
your
fucked
head.
with you.
I flew over there.
But
flew
you
back.
somewhat deserved it, right,
Oh,
Rick?
yeah. But I flew back and I got discharged on February 14th, 1967.
Wow, God bless you. Look at this guy. Hey, Ryan. I told you.
I'm loving it, man.
Oh.
You know me. I'm a hey Rick.
He's been trying to become my friend for like 2 weeks, and every time he gets like halfway through a story, I tell him, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah. You're going to
Yeah.
ruin the podcast.
I
oh.
didn't want him to ruin it for the pod. I did. Now I'm just sitting here like amazed.
Yeah.
So Rick, I'm now that I'm like thoroughly fucking amazed. A lot of people at the bar, and I think if anybody listens to this podcast, we talk about a lot about the bell. Gentlemen that actually have known you for a long time and many, many, many years, because I'm kind of a newbie and all that shit, and Ryan, of course, is much lesser of regular or anything like that.
I'm a lower rank.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking you as very high rank. That you're kind of a legend around Highland. When did you make your way into Highland? Like what year? I don't particularly need to know what month or
Well,
anything.
you said you grew up in Denver.
Yeah.
Now, did you make your way straight over to the San Bernardino area, or where did you go first?
I
The
went
military.
the military. I went to boot
Okay.
camp in San Diego, was stationed in San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
All right, now that's what I was going to tell you about next.
Okay.
When I made a friend on the ship that they sent me over to pick up in the Philippines, you know, we were there.
How's your beer?
It's good for right now. But this guy didn't know anything. The ship was stationed out of Long Beach. I'd never been around Long Beach down there to where I knew my way around down Long Beach. But I knew my way around San Francisco, and that's where we ended up for discharge.
Yeah.
And I was friends with him on the ship. He asked me to show him where he could buy a car. So we go out in Oakland there to where all the used car places are. He buys a 58 Edsel for $250
Jesus.
and wants to know if I want to go to Dayton with him. Well, as far as I can remember,
That's
the old-
Ohio,
Ohio,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I wake up in the middle of Oregon and I said, "Where the fuck we going?" He goes, "To Dayton." I said, "But Ohio's east, not
Yeah.
north."
Yeah.
I'm really liking your theories about I wake up
And he
and
goes,
I'm in some place.
he goes,
That sounds like you,
That's
Ryan.
dude. That's what kind of traveler I am. I jump.
He looks-
man.
I'm gonna look just like him, and you act exactly like him.
Here's the thing. These are the three stages of my life. I think is what's happening right now. Here I am now. I'm gonna wind up like you, and then possibly like Rick.
Well, and I'm already throwing myself into the wolves.
Yeah,
I want to be him.
yeah. I mean, look, you're all very honorable people, but I'm a little scared. I'm just gonna be.
I would, when I was your age, I would have been terrified of this, but now I'm going head first,
I said to this guy, "I thought we were going to Dayton." He said, "We are." I said, "Dayton, Ohio, right? That's the only Dayton there is." He goes, "No, we're going to Dayton, Washington."
Oh, there's a Dayton,
Where
Washington.
the hell is Dayton, Washington?
I don't know. Washington's got some weird.
Which Washington?
Washington State.
Washington State.
That's why I was driving through Oregon.
We're coming up to Oregon and going off over to the southeast corner of Washington State. It's nothing but farmland and stuff, you know.
A lot of pot farms now.
And
Yeah.
Walla Walla is where the state prison is. The town I lived in Dayton was 30 miles from there.
How am I supposed to know that there's two Daytons?
I didn't know that.
How did I know that I
I was
was going to Dayton, Ohio?
I guess that's why we got you here.
and
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, Washington's got some weird fucking cities, too.
and anyway, I got up there and everything was so cool up there. I mean, it was beautiful. It
Wait,
was
you said cruel?
Cool.
cool.
Oh,
So cool. I
Wow.
mean, the people, it was a town of like, okay, they had a population of something like 1,300 because they were building a Little Goose Dam on the Snake River and all the construction people lived there. When the construction people moved out, the population went to 800 people.
For you. Give me a second.
They went to 800 people, is what the population of that town was.
How's that? Is that better?
You sit on Main Street on the fucking hood of your car, and your arm would just get wore out waving to all the people that you knew that drove up and down the street, you know. It was just a
Oh.
complete...
You can adjust them. You can pull them down a little bit if you need them to. They kept falling off. I thought you needed an
They
adjustment. Sorry.
completely...
he's got one of those square heads, man.
No, it's got a point on it,
Wow.
actually.
No, you're doing a fine job.
Yeah.
Keep
But,
going.
Sorry about that.
But everybody was so friendly. You just fucking... everybody knows you. You don't have never been in this town, and by the second day you're there, there isn't anybody in town that doesn't know you.
Right.
You know, and it
Hey,
was
don't worry about him.
it
Look
was
at me.
neat. It was fucking neat. You know, so I ended up going to work at the Green Giant Company. They had a Green Giant cannery up there.
The Jolly
wait.
Green Giant.
With
you
the
got
beans.
that right.
Yeah.
And we worked asparagus and peas.
So,
was
you
what-
worked canning that stuff?
I worked in the cannery where we canned it. The field workers were all migrant workers that came from Mexico or Texas and stuff. Yeah, they worked their way all the way through
Well, of course.
and stuff. And
Well, I mean, he always worked his way through the Navy. Why shouldn't he be the guy that...
No, I was trying to make it a little
it
joke.
was
That's all.
it was a great job actually at the time. And I'll tell you what, my wages were fucking $2.10 an hour.
Look at you making all the money.
Yeah.
That's what you got paid back then.
What year?
In '67,
How much?
$2.10 an hour.
And that was
When I started work, right guy, man,
well. It makes sense, but it does make like it baffles me because even when I started working, the minimum wage was $7.50, and like
That's how much younger you are than I am.
okay.
well, obviously, but but that's what I'm saying is like you said in '67, $2.50 was what
I
275.
We made 10 cents an hour more working for Green Giant non-union than Libby's and Kearns paid. They only paid $2 an hour, and they were union.
Right.
A Green
and they
Giant.
had to pay out shit.
But it just shows you how progressive inflation has been over these past.
Oh, yeah.
No. I
Yeah,
don't
what do you
think.
mean?
No.
And the cost of living and all that stuff for sure.
No.
Come on. What do you mean?
Well, we're looking at 64. All right.
Right. But
You said 210.
$2.10 an hour.
Okay,
Now,
so
now
now-
when I worked
Hold on.
for minimum
So
wage,
let's put me at 1975. I'm making $3.10.
Okay, and then
And then I get fired from my being a bus boy or whatever the fuck I was doing. And I could go dig ditches for $5 an hour or whatever the fuck, you know.
okay,
It was
But
big,
you
big
would
money compared to what you were making.
So, but you would get to a job where you had the guy that was the one running the job, and that motherfucker was making $10 an hour.
Oh yeah.
okay, but what?
Oh, no. And you were just like in your dream hole.
Right, but
No. Out of all your aspirations in the world, it was like, if
That's
I
where
could
you
only
wanted
make
to be.
$10.
You were gonna get
Now
his
it's your
job.
that's exactly my point is when I started working my first job, I was 17 making $7.50 an hour. And that was in 2007.
Except you probably had a very minuscule job.
Sure, but so my point is
Well, I mean, explain what your
I worked
was.
Parks and Rec there, and then I ended up getting another job working retail. Right now, and then eventually I got a job where I was making $10.25 an hour, which was only $2 more than minimum wage at that point.
Okay.
And now minimum wage is $13.50.
Well, I
And it's
still.
gonna go to 50.
And that. My point is that it's pretty crazy that drastic change within 30
I
years.
don't believe that it should happen, though, Ryan. And I'll fight till the end of time.
I'm
on
not
it.
saying it should. I'm just telling you that it's crazy
Well,
to
with
me.
that drastic
That's a
change.
huge change. There's a
Yeah.
huge difference between being able to get by at
Not
$10
really,
an hour.
because when we were making the money we made, you could get a hamburger for 15 fucking cents.
Are you not understanding my point? Now a hamburger is $5.
I know.
That's my point. So that's why the minimum wage keeps going up. It's inflation.
So
That's what
what's the
happens.
difference?
Because the
the
increase in wages haven't met the increase of prices.
prices and the
Your
cost of
grocery-
living. That's
Your grocery bill, your gas, your car, all cost about 3
always
times more
seemed like-
than you
all right.
than you earn.
In 1970, it seemed like everybody was a lot nicer than they are
Well,
now.
of course
well, that's
they
because
were.
everyone was making good money.
But now look at you. You're all fucking, you're 75 and all fucking grumpy and all
You're
fucked
right.
up.
And you're 58. And you're the grumpiest guy I know.
Thank you. Hi, you're watching Doug Gleason.
And you haven't
What's
seen.
your
You
deal?
haven't even seen me grumpy.
I'm 31 and I'm grumpy.
No,
All
I
right?
think you're an amazing, amazing man. I just, I don't know.
Anyway, I was up there in Washington.
Here we go.
The-
Working for
What's your deal?
Working for the Green Giant.
Right. So I work all through 67. I start in 68. Well, when the peace season got over in 68, me and this other guy were going to come down here and visit my family. His brother was already down here visiting.
In Highland.
Well, at that time, they were in Redlands.
Okay.
And we're going to come down and visit. Well, we get down here in this pickup truck that I bought, 54 Ford pickup. Come down here and we're going down to see my sister in San Diego, and blew the engine in Oceanside.
Okay.
So I never made it back to fucking Washington. I had a permanent job with Green Giant waiting for me. They held that opening for 3 months waiting for me to get back there. I went to work here and fucking never went back. And I
Wow.
Wait. Here in Highland.
Right.
But what?
And how old are you at this point, Rick?
Oh, God. Well, it was 68.
Oh, so you've only been here for that long.
Living here, yes. Permanently
So
living
how
here.
long were you in Oceanside?
Oh, just overnight. When the truck, we fucking left the truck there, got my sister to come and get us and take us back up.
No. Oh, wait, hold on. Somehow I think I messed up on your age because I thought you said 68.
He said that. Yeah, that's how long. That's when he moved. Here.
68 was when the truck
Oh,
blew
the
up.
year.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought it was your age.
No,
Yeah, I was confused on that too.
68
I was confused on that too.
68 was the year that,
Because I thought
and I've been here since then.
Okay.
So how old were you at that point? I can't do that kind of math.
All right, 63, I turned 21. So 68, I would have been 27 or 28.
Okay, so and then you end up in Highland.
Well, at first we lived in San Bernardino.
No, I don't give a shit about that. Close enough. Let's say you're 30.
And
So 40,
then I'm in Highland. All right.
so
Since I lived
45 years.
From the time I lived in Highland, I tended bar and worked construction all the time.
Hey, you've told me a lot about your tendon bar. I'd like to hear a little bit about that story. And Rye Guy,
Yes, sir.
how much time we got running on this?
We're good. We're at about we're about 40.
Hey, how about we take just a little tiny break there,
Sounds wonderful.
You want to take?
and then we finish up the last 20 minutes. But I
You
want
got
to finish up this last 20 minutes with you telling me
Bar stories?
a little bit of the bars. So we had a little kind of break here because we all had to pee, and we didn't want to have a bunch of dead air here. But I was just talking with Rick here, and turns out that he's pretty proud that he's 75 years old.
You're damn right I am. I worked hard to get this far.
Yeah, and you were kind of thinking that if you ever made it to 75,
That would be the end of the road. You know, I wouldn't. I've already fucking been blessed with being saved for so many things.
I'm
You
sorry
know,
about that.
that it could have gone the wrong way and escaped all of that shit. Now I'm ready to go for a lot longer. Because
yeah, I heard you were going for 100.
it doesn't sound bad. As
Yeah.
long as I can fucking keep my faculties about me and everything.
Talking bullshit.
Yep. If I can walk to the bar and have a beer every day, I'm fucking fine.
All right, so hey, I apologize because I forgot about what the fuck we were talking about in the last app. But Ryan, he hasn't.
Shit. Well,
Let's go to the bar.
Let's
go
put
back
the
to the
blame
you
bar.
on
wanted
him.
you wanted to talk. Okay, we wanted to talk about the. But you said you were bartending.
Yes.
Okay.
And I learned to tend bar down in when I was AWOL from the bar that I worked in down there, up in Oakland. And that lady had a cocktail lounge that only had a beer license.
Yeah.
And so we used sake to make mixed drinks.
That's still happening.
And anything that you require white liquor for, you can use sake
Sake.
to replace it.
Because it's a rice wine. It's,
Right.
It's
And
technically a
it's
wine.
Wine, technically.
Except to get you fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hey, the Bell does the same shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Well, don't
When
give
I
up
worked-
technical secrets.
when
Well,
I
it's fine.
worked,
You can get away with it.
when
It's
I
legal.
worked there at the bar, I had certain nights of the week I would have strawberry margaritas, strawberry daiquiris, and stuff on special for $1. And it was just the sake that I used and triple sec.
Yeah.
Because triple sec is a liqueur, but the alcohol content
Is low enough.
low enough that
That
it's under the wine
yeah.
limit.
Yep.
You know? And the Bell used to have an off-sale license where you could buy beer to go. But not very many people bought it because they wanted you to charge the same amount as if they were sitting there drinking it.
Yeah.
You know. But I was a fucking cool bartender. I used to sell it to everybody for the fucking price that you could get it for at the liquor store at closing time, you know. And then I'd collect their money. I'd get up early the next morning and go to the liquor store and buy it
Buy it
and
back.
replace it, you know.
Oh, what
So
a
it-
genius!
Wow. That's why the whole world loves you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you're not actually making any money on that. Right?
Oh, hell no. I never made a penny. Half the time
you were just looking out for the common folk.
Yeah, for the customers and
Yeah.
my friends and shit, you know.
Yeah.
And half the time I ended up spending part of my money
Half of
to
your
even
money.
get it
Absolutely.
to replace all of it.
Right, right.
But I'll tell you what, I got a loyal following of it there and several other places that I worked as a bartender. People would not give me up for anything, you know.
And still to the day, Rick, because unfortunately we're doing this thing on a Monday, but I'm telling you, a half a dozen people said, I want to come and watch this be filmed. But it's Monday, and now
Yeah.
they all blew us out, you know. So now I'm stuck with your icky ass.
Well, I'm glad every time people come in who want to actually like hang out while we do this, they always become a fucking nuisance.
Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm glad that
I
we
mean, not a
did-
nuisance. It's just
I'm-
whenever I'll pull out partying outside. I'm trying to
But
record here.
you are truly becoming one of the best podcasts that Ryan and myself have ever been able
Absolutely.
to produce. Ryan, we came up with like 3 or 4 ideas during
Okay.
the break.
But you said you started bartending in Colorado, no?
No, in Oakland.
Oakland.
And then when I was living in San Diego, I went to a bartender school down there that is put on by the Restaurant and Tavern Association.
Uh-huh.
They don't use any alcohol. It costs $29 to go through it.
Yeah, and they just teach you how to
And they
mix.
teach
Wait,
yeah,
29?
yeah, they teach you how to pour and stuff, you know.
29.
Back then, I'm sure.
And they would help you find a job and stuff when you graduated from that class.
Yeah.
And stuff. Well, the first thing they ask you in that class is how many of you do you want to be a salesman? How many of you want to be a salesman? And 90% of the class would say, wouldn't ever raise their hand or anything. And he said, well, you guys could go on home.
I guess that
Because
is the job, huh?
Huh?
I never thought about it that way.
But the only thing you can sell in a bar is yourself and your service.
And yeah.
Because every bar has the same whiskey, basically the same price. So the only reason a customer comes back is because of the way you treat them. And you're selling yourself to those people, not the liquor or anything. You sell yourself.
you had a
and
great-
make
you
those
had-
people come back.
So
and
you're
sell.
telling us that you were a salesman?
No,
Yes,
no.
I was.
What you're telling me is you had a great bartending teacher.
Yeah, I did. That was the most
I have never
important-
heard that before, and
And how many years do you think you bartended?
Well, I tended bar at the Spur off and on for 20 years. I worked off and on at the Bell for 10 years, and I worked at Clyde's for 2 years. I worked at the 123 Club. I worked at the
So, I mean,
Green
close
Frog.
to 40 years.
Yeah.
Did
Wow.
you love it?
Oh, I love Teddy Bar. Except, like Don Pope, the owner of the Silver Spur, used to say that I was the best bartender he ever hired, but it only lasted about 5 months. Because after 5 months of putting up with the same people, you start getting grouchy. You don't
Oh,
want to,
Yeah.
so you got to change, You got to go somewhere else and do something,
Yeah.
because you get tired of hearing the same people tell you the same sad stories every day.
Yeah.
But there was a psych tech that worked at Patton that used to come in there, and when people would go to talk to him about their problems and stuff, he'd say, go talk to Rick. He's the bartender. You don't have to pay him, and he'll give you better fucking information to deal with your problem than I could ever think of giving you.
Oh, so you were the old school bartender therapist.
That's it.
Okay, so that's you know.
He says Rick knows how to handle things in your situation a lot better than I do.
You were like Woody in Cheers.
So
No, not Woody.
know-
No, what's his name? And God damn it.
Woody,
No, Woody was the
Norm?
Norm in Cheers.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
who
Yeah.
was
he was.
You fucking,
Norm?
you fucking learn to fucking talk to people. Guys that are having marital problems, you tell them, well, if you don't want to have marital problems, go home to your wife.
Go home. Yeah.
Yeah, why are
Don't
you
sit in
fucking
here
here?
with me.
Yes.
Don't sit in here with me.
She's probably mad that you're here at 11
Yeah.
o'clock at night.
Right. So why would you want come and tell me that that's your problem? That isn't. The problem is you're sitting here instead of home with her.
Yeah.
Go home, take her out once in a while.
See, my lady's right over there, and she's mad that I'm fucking sitting here with you, right?
And
That's not true. At least you're home.
Ah.
At least you're home.
Hey,
yeah,
The thing, I'm starting to get that, Rick. I've been working at a bar for, just a couple weeks now, but I'm starting to realize that it's like, and it is just a little dive. But I've worked in like brewery tap rooms, and I've worked at I've done like event parties as a bartender and stuff. So this is my first real like working at a dive bar. And it's the same regulars, and it's the same people complaining about the same shit, and it's just I'm starting to feel that I'm like, well, the advice I'm gonna give you, you're just gonna take it, and you're not gonna listen to me because
Oh,
you're
hell
gonna come
no.
back tomorrow,
or do you
complain
just,
about it.
Or do you just stop the advice?
no.
I just
that-
this is
That's what happens is after like
Yeah.
5 or 6 months, by then you've heard that story so many times from the same person, you quit being nice to them.
Well, see, and that's what happens with me. Like, I think I'm funny, but after like 5 or 6 months, people are like, I've heard you tell me that 30 times.
And-
It's not. And then, so you know what I do, Rick? I tell you the 31st time.
at least you know.
But
At least you know you're being annoying.
that bar I worked in Oakland, it was fucking absolutely fabulous. It had been built to be a cocktail lounge.
Yes.
And it had all this used brick on the back bar. It had the nice leather fucking booths and everything. And it was gorgeous and stuff. And they only got a beer license, beer and wine. And these people would come. This one guy used to come in every day and tell you how to clean that used brick that was on the back bar.
Yeah.
It was part of the decor.
Right.
You didn't want new brick back
Right,
there,
right.
You wanted that used brick. And you think you could tell him that? Hell no. He wanted to see it all cleaned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always,
then clean
always
it.
tell you
Then why don't you clean it?
all the. If you tended bar in there, you were lazy because you never cleaned the brick.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like Ryan and I have done a little bit of stand-up comedy. Ryan's done a lot more than me, and there ain't nothing more beautiful than standing up behind. You know, when the background is used brick.
Oh God, it's the best.
Yeah, it makes you feel like, hey, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You made it somewhere.
Yeah.
You got up there on it.
A spotlight on some used brick.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think my living room and my kitchen.
We're gonna turn it into a club. We're gonna
Yeah, one day we'll make it into that stuff. You know, at 75 years old, what do you think your greatest accomplishment is by now?
That my kids still love me.
And how many children do you got?
6,
No shit. How many boys?
3,
And how many girls?
3.
That's why it adds up to 6.
And
Um,
all the girls are all older than the boys.
And,
And I'm not going to swear that all the girls love
leave
me.
it to a military man to make sure his kids are symmetric.
No. Why not? What is?
But now I'll tell you.
Okay, so
Hers, mine, and ours.
uh-huh.
All right. Because my first wife and I were only married from December 16th until February 28th.
Oh,
And
that was a big
that
marriage.
was the end of that marriage. That was the end of that marriage. And then my second wife and I, we had 2 girls. Then my third wife, her and I had 2 boys, but she had a boy and a girl from previous marriage.
So they come with the package.
Yeah, so we had
Hers, mine, and ours.
Oh, you guys were the Brady Bunch.
2 and 2 and 2, yeah.
Well, I love that. And what's your relationship with those 6 human beings?
The girls are all off on their own. One of them lives in Hawaii, is a nurse instructor for ICU and CCU. The other one's a dental technician, or a dental hygienist is what she is.
Uh-huh.
They both graduated from San Bernardino, CSU, San Bernardino. And then my other daughter which would be a stepdaughter. She lives in Missouri she divorced a guy that owns a construction company that it just makes money hand
But
over.
you,
She left him and went back to Missouri to marry a guy that she fucking knew in high school that doesn't have a damn thing. But they love each other and they fucking have their kids and they love each other and they want to be together.
well, fantastic.
And she was a
but-
soccer mom,
But I mean, you say like a stepdaughter. You don't believe her.
Oh, hell, she was my
She's
daughter.
your kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her
Move the
dad
fuck
got
along.
killed before, and I...
Don't care.
She
I
lived-
mean, that's even more beautiful. But it's your daughter.
And the thing about it is my oldest real daughter and her are the same age, and then there's one younger than those 2. So they all went to the same high school
Oh, wow.
together, and they're all the time. They all went to San G, and they
all know each other.
yeah.
They're all keepers.
And everything.
That must make you very, very proud.
My kids are the proudest thing I ever did.
God bless you. I don't know what time we're at, man, but
We're at 55.
we got 5 minutes left. You got anything fucking special to say?
Well, you wanted to bring up his Highland legend status.
It's just over the
You
way.
told me that you studied a little bit about Highland.
I just always enjoyed knowing about Highland. And I mean, when I first came down here on leave and stuff from when I was in this service and stuff, my brother would show me parts of Highland and Redlands that aren't there anymore. You know, he showed me things that are gone. They'll never be back, you know. And he would take me and show me these things that were really interesting, you know.
Do you have any memories of them, or can you tell any stories of things that you
Yeah,
no
there was a
longer-
railroad spur. When you went from the Highland Station, that train used to go into Redlands. But there was a spur line out there in East Highlands that had all of these train cars would be out there on the spur line, but cars that were damaged or didn't get used anymore, like the old sleeper cars and some of
Now,
them.
when you say spur line, I want that to be like a side rail.
Right, it
Where
just
the
went
real
out and
train
came
would
to a
go.
dead stop.
Yeah, you get a little Ricky or a little Lefty.
Yeah, and there were like 3 or 4 tracks that went off, you know, and these things would be out there according to how damaged they were. and
Yes,
stuff.
sir.
But some of those cars were the fucking cream of the crop passenger train cars that had sleepers with all velvet on the walls and the seats and stuff. And that was all out there. You could go out there and look at it and touch it, sit in it. And then all of a sudden, when they started developing out there, it was all gone. There
When
was
you
nothing.
say out that here, that's here.
Yeah, from Highland Station, right there by the bar, you went straight on east, and then it would turn and go over to Redlands. And then you would catch a train going to Palm
Did-
Springs and stuff.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you start to feel like they were letting you down, or the peeps, or yeah? You don't see very like political or anything like that to me. You just seem like a 75-year-old man that wants to make it to 100.
But I'm political. I have my opinions, but I keep them to myself. I don't want to push it on somebody else. I'm Republican. I always have been. You know, and I'm not ashamed to admit it or anything. And I'll always vote that way, and I'll support any of it.
You're the most beautiful man I've ever
And,
fucking met.
I
I
tr-
knew when I asked you to come here to my home and into my studio and meet Ryan and that you were going to be magical. I told you a week ago. I fucking cannot wait.
And
Rick, I want to tell you one thing for certain right now, man. I knew you were going to be amazing. You were amazing. We got 1 hour of you. If you ever feel so inclined, I will give you another hour. I don't want to give you an hour and 20 minutes tonight
no, I don't.
because I want to give you another hour. You're much more everything that I ever need. So, remember when I told you at the beginning of this podcast that you were going to look right there?
Yes, I am.
And then you're going to say your name. You say, and that was my deal.
And I'm Rick Herring, and this is my deal. You didn't interrupt me. You didn't stop me or anything.
You were